Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to this session of Wellness, Wonder, and Learning. Today, I am going to tell you about plastic manufacturing and how it is driving the climate change more than before. In 2021, the Beyond Plastic Alliance outlined alarming reality that plastics are more rapidly overtaking coal as the major source of greenhouse gas emissions. Till now, it has been considered that coal is the only source of greenhouse gases and it is directly related to the climate change. But now, a study has proved that plastics were, are rapidly overtaking coal as the major source of greenhouse gas emissions. Derived from the fossil fuels, actually, these plastics are derived from the fossil fuels. They emit significant amount of carbon dioxide and methane throughout its life cycle. And life cycle of plastic is much more longer than any fossil fuel, especially during production, use and disposal. The report estimates that US in US plastic industry alone is responsible for at least 232 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions each year, and an amount comparable to the emissions from 116 coal-fired power plants. Now you see, only one plastic manufacturing plant is replacing 116 coal-fired power plants. If the current trend continues, what will happen? By 2030, plastics could surpass coal in their production contribution to global warming. Thus, this shift comes at a time when global energy markets are transitioning away from coal, leaving the fossil fuel industry increasingly reliant on plastic production as a new revenue stream, you can say. It is the new revenue stream. That's why people are shifting from coal to the plastic manufacturing. One of the key findings of the report is that the impact of plastics on environment is grossly underestimated. Emissions from the plastic industry are not only vast but also expected to rise. Since 2019, 42 new plastics production facilities have been built, and these are under construction or are in permitting processes in USA, you can say. These new plants are projected to increase annual emissions by another 55 million tons by 2025, equal to 27 additional coal-fired power plants. See the difference. Moreover, these reports highlights how the harmful effects of the plastic production are disproportionately felt by low-income communities and communities of color. More than 90% of the climate pollution generated by US plastics manufacturing occur in just 18 communities, primarily located in Texas and Louisiana. Residents of these areas often turn sacrifice zone, experience higher levels of the pollution and associated health risks such as respiratory diseases and cancer. People living near petrochemical plants tend to earn less and are more likely to be people of color, further compounding the environmental injustice of plastic production. Another disturbing aspect discussed is the industry's push for chemical recycling. This method is often touted as an advanced solution for managing plastic waste, but report reveals that it is little more than a rebranding of incineration. Rather than turning plastic into reusable materials, chemical recycling processes largely convert plastic waste into fuels and are then burned, releasing more greenhouse gases. Far from being a climate solution, These practices worsens the problem of perpetuating plastic production and disposal. The report also exposes the hidden climate cost of plastic waste incinerations. In 2020 alone, incinerating plastic waste in the municipal waste facilities released approximately 15 billion tons of the carbon dioxide equivalent emissions. As this volume of the plastic in the waste stream increases, so will the emission from the incineration. Since 2021, the relationship between the plastic production and the climate change has continued to worsen, with plastic becoming a significant contributor to global greenhouse gases emissions. Recent data from the report in 2024 show that plastic production, use, and waste management now account for about 4% of total global emissions. This is considerably increasing, and this is also very alarming compared to the earlier years when the contribution was less emphasized. Experts predict that if the current trend continues, plastics could account for about up to 19% of the global greenhouse gas emissions by 2040. A key driver of these emissions is the life cycle of plastics, because plastics have very long life cycle per se, with 99% of the plastics still being produced from the fossil fuels. Only 1 to 1.5% are derived from bio-based sources, while less than 10% of the plastics are recycled. These reliance on fossil fuels for plastic productions make it critical issue in both climate change and environmental pollution. Incineration and landfills emitted substantial amounts of carbon dioxide and methane. Global action is underway to address this crisis. In 2022, the United Nations Environmental Agency (UNEP) initiated a legally binding global treaty to end plastic pollution, which is expected to be finalized by the end of the 2024. This agreement aims to address the full life cycle of plastics from production to disposal by encouraging circular economy. If successfully implemented, this treaty could reduce plastic pollution by 80% by 2040, cut greenhouse gas emissions, and create new jobs, particularly in waste management and recycling sectors in the global south. So, this is the present scenario of plastic productions. How plastics are going to replace the fossil fuels and contributing to the climate change. That's why it is very essential to stop this plastic manufacturing process and also incinerations, because it is going to affect the climate change and environmental pollution. Thank you very much.